Hi there, we're Sean and Allison from Spoken Garden, and we're partnering with Eden Brothers to help you in your garden.
Today we're going to talk to you about zinnias and how to add them to your garden. So let's get started. So zinnias are an annual plant with various species and hundreds of cultivars and hybrids to choose from, and this also includes a lot of different flower colors, shapes, and plant sizes. So as an annual, zinnias are hardy in zones 3 through 10, and they're native to Mexico. They're a really popular plant to grow for many gardeners, and they're really well known. Now, zinnias are in the daisy plant family, so they have daisy-like flowers. And there's a couple of main species that you can choose from to add to your garden, and those include Zinnia elegans, Zinnia marylandica, Zinnia angustifolia, and Zinnia hedgiana, and also many hybrids of these species that have been grown together. Zinnias are really easy to maintain and grow and are usually vigorous growers. They like to grow in full sun locations, usually with at least 6 hours or more of sunlight in each of those locations, and they like well-draining, nutrient-rich soil. They also have average water needs. They can be drought tolerant, but they will need some supplemental watering during really hot and dry conditions in your garden. They're usually planted in the spring for flowers that start in summer and go all the way into the fall, and there's both heirloom and hybrid varieties.
There are so many reasons to add zinnias to your garden. Not only are they just beautiful, but they add a lot of unique splashes to your garden. They can be great for cut flowers, especially the really tall, like elegance type that we'll show you in just a minute. Now, another great benefit for zinnias is depending on the height of the zinnias you're growing and the different species, you can tuck them into different areas of the garden, kind of adding and filling in space and adding color. Probably one of the best benefits of adding zinnias to your garden is all the pollinators that they attract, including bees, which are on this plant right now, and also butterflies and maybe even hummingbirds. And a final benefit to consider for zinnias, they are deer and rabbit resistant.
Now, when you add zinnias to your garden, it's really important to know some of the subtle or major differences between the different species, because you might want to be going for a specific look in your garden, and knowing those differences can really help with that. So first, we wanted to show you the most well-known zinnia out there. It's Zinnia elegans species. Now, it's really easy to identify Zinnia elegans because they have a very classic shaped leaf. It's called an ovate leaf. It's literally wide at the base and it comes to a point at the top. It almost looks egg-shaped in a way, and they're definitely opposite leaves, and they usually have a very daisy-looking like flower where they have the petals that radiate out. Zinnias are very distinct where they have two different kinds of petals. They have a ray petal and they have a disc petal. You can tell because the ray petals come out like the sun rays go out, and the disc petals are more compact in the center, and they're actually really tightly held together, and they're usually a different color. Now, comparing these Zinnia elegans to a Zinnia marylandica, like you see here, this is Zahara Starlight Rose. This is a marylandica. You can see it's a lot shorter than the elegans, which is very typical between the two species, and it has more lance-like shaped leaves. They're a lot more narrow. They still come to a point, but they're not as wide and they're not as big as the elegans species. Their flowers usually are also a little bit smaller to a lot smaller, and they're not as distinct with those ray or disc flower types. They still have the ray and disc petals in their flowers, but they're definitely smaller. Now, if you're wondering about flower colors between Zinnia elegans, Zinnia marylandica, angustifolia, you pretty much have any of the colors from the rainbow to choose from except blue. You'll also find single type of flowers, semi-double types of flowers, which are a little bit fuller and more petals than a single type of flower, or you'll get doubles, which are super full of flower petals, and there's a lot of others to choose from. Now, you might be asking, when can I add zinnias to my garden? You can sow seeds indoors 4 to 6 weeks before your last spring forecasted frost date. You can sow outdoors in the spring once any chance of frost is past and the daytime temperatures are at or above 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Zinnias can also be planted throughout the summer as long as you have 60 to 70 days before your first fall frost or early to mid-August. If transplanting seedlings or starts, plant in your garden after the threat of frost is past and your daytime temps are at or above 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
As you're getting ready to add zinnias to your own garden, it's really fun to think about where you want to plant them, which is basically anywhere that gets full sun. Now, you can grow zinnias in a whole bunch of different types of growing conditions. For example, you can grow them in containers, you can grow them in ground beds, obviously. They also grow really well in raised beds or even fabric bags, all of which we have grown in our garden at various times. Now, right here is an example of growing zinnias in a big raised bed area. This is actually towards the end of the growing season, so we're seeing a lot of different changes in color and whatnot of these zinnias, and some of them are really tall by now, which is really fun for cut flowers. So one Zinnia elegans that we're growing this year, which has a really long, tall stem, and it's great for cut flowers, is the California Giants mix. It comes in a range of colors within the one seed pack. Now, California Giants Mix is an heirloom zinnia, so that's really fun to grow. They're more of an open flower, as you can see, and they get really tall. They're beautiful, and they're also a bestseller. Some other really fun Zinnia elegans to grow in your garden are some different series that Eden Brothers has, like the Benaries series, the Queenie series, and Lilliputs. Another fun zinnia to grow is this zinnia right here. This is called Persian carpet. It's actually what's called a Mexican zinnia, which is a different type of zinnia called a Zinnia hagiana. And you can see ours are kind of flopped over right now, but we just love them. They have this beautiful yellow flower, kind of a red or almost brownish colored center. They're a huge pollinator attractor. Now, right here is a really fun zinnia that we love growing almost every year because it's a lower grower. This is part of the Zahara series. It's a Zinnia marilandica. And what we love about it is its white star-shaped flowers. They're just really vibrant, and they have a beautiful pink center. Now, Zahara has a lot of other colors as well, so you can find the one that you like and grow that in your garden too. Now, similar to the Zahara series I just showed you is Profusion series. We love the Profusion series. We've grown Profusion Cherry Bicolor and Profusion Red Yellow Bicolor, and what we love the most about these zinnias is they change color completely throughout a growing season. They'll start as one color, let's say yellow, and they fade to pink, depending on which one you buy.
Now, as far as companion plants go with your zinnias, they pretty much go with anything. What you really need to do is match them to the same amount of sunlight needed for zinnias and the water and the soil type. For perennials, zinnias match really well with blanket flowers, cone flowers, and coreopsis, amongst others. For annuals, they go with almost everything that's full sun, including marigolds, cosmos, sweet potato vine, nasturtiums, petunias, alyssum, and a lot of others. Now, zinnias also make great companion plants for vegetables because they can bring in and attract different pollinators to help pollinate your vegetable plants too, including tomatoes, lettuce, pumpkin, melons, and a lot of other sun-loving vegetables.
Now, if you need more zinnia seed sowing, planting, or growing tips, you can always go to EdenBrothers.com and check out their planting guide.
And we hope this video was really helpful for you in thinking about how to add zinnias to your own garden. And from us at Spoken Garden and Eden Brothers, thank you for watching.